Hi guys, this is Debbie with Love and Grace Healing Centers. I live here in West Michigan and it's a beautiful fall day, so I'm out here in a cabin at the Salvation Army actually and working on some videos, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about Love and Grace and who I am. I am locally a director of Love and Grace Healing Centers. I am the founder and program developer as well. We have quite a large team right now. For us, we have about 18 people that care for others, and we have a growing staff. The reason that I do what I do is I'm a mom with 2 daughters, and I have a degree in psychology. I also am a licensed minister, but my passion's been to help people figure out who they are in Christ, figure out how to walk through life's issues and still find joy. And that is my hope for you. So here at Love and Grace, we do a scale that is called an adverse childhood experience scale, as new people come in to kind of see how they're doing and what their story might be. And on that scale, there's 10 questions, and you just simply answer yes or no. In those categories, it covers things like, have you ever been abused? Have you ever seen abuse? Was your mother abused? Is anybody in your family in jail? Did anybody commit suicide, attempt suicide? Have you lived with anybody with a mental health issue? And were you neglected? Did you ever feel unloved? Did you ever go without food or clothing? And unfortunately, in my childhood, I experienced all 10 of those. And I used to joke that I had 9 out of 10, but in all seriousness, recent family reunion, I discovered I have 10 out of 10. And what that means is if you have more than 0, if you say yes to any of that, you're highly likely to have a lot of health issues. You're highly likely to have issues with pulmonary, like 1,200% more likely. There's a really high rate of suicide amongst those with that much traumatic experiences. The issues of having depression, mental health in the home, and having to always find ways to cope, and having such an high ACE score, or any ACE score, especially over 3, leads you to an area where you're highly likely to become a substance abuser of some kind. Sometimes for people, that's a shopping abuser. So thankfully, I've always looked for a better way to raise my family and to raise my girls, and how to have a healthy relationship. And really what has been saving for me is that God called me as a young child. I can't say the same for my siblings, and to come out and start to be able to have different ways of thinking and being able to not think what you came from was normal is really hard, guys. It's really, really hard. And I coined a phrase years ago that I call it familiar normal. And what that means is, despite what I know, despite what doctors might tell me, counselors might tell me, I can't stop doing what I've learned to do. In fact, there was a time where I was caring for a client, and she had a history. I believe at the time I met her, she had attempted suicide 20 times. She had overdosed with alcohol, substance abuses of all different kinds. And she didn't want to live. She had such a horrific childhood, she couldn't even sleep at night. She couldn't close her eyes. And it was traumatic, to say the least. And I realized that when I had an issue for the first time, it just struck me as weird, a first time in my marriage, that I was home and I'm like, gosh, I want a cigarette and I want tequila. And to me, my mom smoked 4 packs a day, and her favorite drinks were margaritas. She didn't sit me down and say, hey, someday when you're stressed out, when things are going wrong, you take a cigarette and tequila. I just watched her do it. So because I observed it, I had this overwhelming urge to do the same thing. And I actually kind of giggled it off because it was way out of my character. I have asthma. I don't smoke. So I'm just sharing that to share the urge is there to do things the way you've seen them done, the way you've been taught subconsciously, and to keep going down that same road. So I determined that I wanted to have a family, and I was married my high school sweetheart, and I was going to someday have children and a beautiful home and do wonderful things like sew clothes and do homemade things and paint pictures. And we'll learn more about that later. But what ended up happening is my high school sweetheart, I fought for that marriage for 40 years. And he was a narcissist. And I can't make him think differently. And that was really hard because I'm empathetic. I've been through a lot and I tolerate a lot. I could set myself aside a lot. But I'm going to ask you to do what I didn't do for a lot of years. Take care of you. Will you choose to take care of you? I know you have a demanding life. I know that you have family and children to take care of. And I know that you're struggling on many days. You gotta find time to take care of you. It's kind of like in the airplane, they used to tell us, so if the oxygen mask drop, put it on you first. Because if you're not healthy, you can't help anybody else around you. So I'm asking you, if you will hang in there and you will listen and take some of the classes that we're going to teach, or even call and make a private session, we can do that on Zoom. I would love to help you. Now, remember I said I dreamed of having my children, and I do have 2 daughters. I have 2 wonderful daughters. It wasn't easy. It wasn't the simplest. I didn't have a lot of help, and my youngest daughter had more issues than my first daughter, and her issues are different than what you deal with. We all have a little different package that we work with in our lives. My child is gifted, and people go, oh goodness, you're bragging. Well, you know what? I am not bragging. I'm telling you, she would love to be normal. She would love to just like get good grades, go to school, and just get by and just be normal. What other people call normal. She is her normal, but it's not easy. It's caused, along with giftedness, just like autism, there's a lot of emotional and deregulation and what we call spinning. And then recently this summer, we had to go off her meds for a month, which told us how much the meds do work. And it was hard. She gets meaner when she's not on them, but mainly she just sleeps. And everyone, family, doctors, teachers, oh, you just need to punish her. You just need to make her fit what they thought was normal. And honestly, she's not like everybody else, and neither are your children. And none of them are like each other. And honestly, she had to come off that for a month. I didn't realize that she was going to go through drug withdrawals from coming off all her meds. That was hard, especially since the doctor hadn't talked about it. It hadn't warned me about it, didn't tell me what to do about it. But one day I'm sitting next to her and she is sleeping at a public concert outdoors, 4th of July, noisy, people everywhere, out cold on a picnic table. Like, this is not okay. And I called the office and I'm like, okay, what is going on? She is just like somebody that's suffering from withdrawals from substance abuse. And they went, oh, we didn't tell you? She is, because she's been off her meds. And I'm heartbroken, I'm crying. And so we finally make it to the point where she gets in for her sleep study. And we're driving back from the sleep study. It was all night and all day, and I had to stay in the room beside her the whole 24 hours. And on an uncomfortable bed, of course. So we did that, and I'm driving home, and I'm looking at her, and I'm like, she fell asleep. The nurses were amazed within 1 or 2 minutes of each session. And my heart's just worried. Like, she doesn't need another label. She doesn't need another issue. She doesn't need something else to cope with. And I look over at her and she's sleeping again. And all of a sudden, I'm like, Lord, what's wrong with her? How come I was given such a broken child? How come she can't just have a normal life? And I was mad. And I know that you've been mad too. I was mad. I just want her to find a simpler route. And I heard Claire Isabel, Debbie, I didn't make her perfect. I made her to be who I wanted her to be, and she will touch the lives she's supposed to touch. She will do what she's supposed to do in this lifetime. And I'm like, okay, God, I'm sorry. So I ended up pulling myself back together, and as one of the things you'll learn as you listen to these is super simple prayers. Lord, help me. I need you. I don't have to make it all fancy. It doesn't have to be everything, but goodness, He created heaven and earth. He knows every atom of my child's body. He knows her every need. He knows everybody she's ever going to run into. He didn't make junk. Maybe she's tainted by something that happened medically, by something that's happened genetically, but He doesn't make junk. So I just want to encourage you that we deal with a lot of issues. Our children deal with a lot of issues. They're not who they are. It helps to understand this is part of an issue that they're dealing with, and they'll overcome it. And overcome it in the way we want it? Maybe not. But overcome it in the way that they're meant to be, and they'll contribute to this world what they're meant to contribute. And I remember holding my daughter up when she was, 1-2 months old, and looking at her and going, this is the purest form of love. Just to see her love back. And because my childhood was so rough, all I wanted was that love. To be loved, to give love, and for it to be healthy love. I want that for you. And where I've discovered it was in the face of that child, but in the arms of my God too. And we're going to talk about things that are tough, and I sure hope that you reach out to us, because I tell my clients when they're in the office, I'm going to say some things and you're not going to agree, or I'm going to say some things, maybe I'll offend you and I don't mean to. But this is an open conversation, and it's all about listening to you. How does what's happened in your life or not happened make you feel? What does it make you believe about yourself? And what is the truth? I want to help you in that spot too. So I am looking forward to walking alongside you or someone on my team. You will have opportunities to join us on Zoom. We, on our website, will be posting more videos that you can download for $25. And that donation will go to help our ministry. And we don't charge, we don't bill insurance. So we do offer private sessions as well. So if you need to download so you can watch it at your convenience in your own time, that's great. If you would prefer to have a private session and talk to somebody, which I highly recommend, because I've trained myself, I've worked with a lot of people, and I do best when I have someone working back with me and catching me on my trying to get out of doing something or sidetrack, because I'm an artist. You'll learn more about that as we go. But I can get lost in the beauty of creation. I can get lost in nature and in a painting. So I want to encourage you to give us a call. If you decide to do private sessions, they're $125 for an hour. You can book 4 hours. They don't have to be at the same time, of course. I wouldn't recommend it. But if you do 4 hours or 4 sessions, it'll be $395 instead of $500, so you can save a little bit that way too. But I highly recommend that you start take care of you, discover what makes you tick. And we really focus on, we're not a diagnosing, we're a ministry. So we focus on what's your identity in Christ, what's your purpose, who you're created to be, what are you passionate about, what things make you tick. Maybe it's standing out here in nature, maybe it's painting a picture, maybe it's riding a horse. What is it that makes you happy and gives you joy? so that you can take time to take care of you. Caring for the caregiver might be reading a book. Caring for the caregiver might be shutting yourself in the bathroom when nobody else is home and just having a quiet time. So after we work through hope, identity, purpose, truth lines up with what does God say about you. So that will be kind of what we will help you with too, is you'll learn to do it for yourself, because that's what our job is. Our job isn't to be here and you to lean on us, but to encourage you so that you can learn to take care of you. And so when we listen to your story, we're like, God wouldn't say that about her. She's not unlovable. He's not unwanted. He's not useless. She's not hurtful, not bad person. So whatever those lies are that you keep hearing over and over again, we can help you with that. And I'm telling you, it's kind of an easy process, and you'll be like, why haven't I done this? The hard part is going to be taking the time to take care of you. So I want to leave you with this. I'm a real fan of writing a thankful journal. So a thankful journal means that you get a notebook out and nothing ugly goes in it, not even if it's part of your thankful story. But maybe today my thankful journal is going to say, the sun is beautiful. I absolutely love it out here today. I saw a duck go across the pond, or a leaf float beautifully. Or it might be a song I heard, or yesterday it was a song that turned into a scripture, and that meant a lot to me. And it was kind of, okay, I got to write that down so I can go back and remember it. So you write these positive things in your thankful journal. It might be something, a smile, someone smiled at you, or your child said something. So you write all this down, and then you go back and read it when you're struggling, and it makes all the difference in the world. So again, I'm Debbie with Love and Grace. You can reach me. My cell phone is 231-260-0193. We're located in West Michigan, and you can come see us personally, but you also can download these videos. You can also call and make an appointment over Zoom. Our website, if you want to learn a little bit more, is www.love, and then the capital N, letter N, grace.org. So loveandgrace.org. So it's got a little country twang. I struggled with, what are these videos going to look like? There's so many professionals out there. I'm a nature girl. I'm an artist, and I love my horses. So you'll get a little peek at West Michigan. And this is going to be raw and just praying that you'll find some joy and some hope and take care of you. God bless.